Hey everybody, I am here for Cornhucket weekend, and the first bike check interview I'm doing this weekend is with none other than Dustin Reese in his Trident from Tech Bike Co. I saw this thing, it was beautiful and spotless, and I was like, Dustin, when's the last bike check we did? All right, let's do another one right now. And here we are. So, Dustin, tell me about your bike.
This is the 2023 Tech Bike Co. Trident. Some of the differences from the previous models is, as you can see on my rear, for the flatland riders, we redesigned the rear dropout, giving it a smooth, flush finish so it does not catch your shoes whatsoever. The platform is slightly wider this year, and they're all double-butted tubing this year, so they're about a pound lighter. I went with the Raspberry Spice paint job. In the sunshine, you can see it's pink, but it's got all these nice little metal flick sparkles in it. Still riding Alienation wheel set with the Free Night rear coaster hub. Went with the new Alienation Legends seat, wider, more like the mirror seats of old. I have just replaced and gone to the pro-sized Odyssey PC pedals. Of course, the nowhere bars, because you can't beat them. You just can't. There's no beating them. Odyssey forks, because again, you can't beat Odyssey's forks. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Lightweight Tioga tires. Sequence pegs with titanium inserts. Look at the chrome on these rims. This is 2 years. Hey Alienation, awesome job. They're not bubbled. They're not streaked from my brake pads. Perfect, great job. I'm still running the 3-piece RNC crank. I haven't had any problems with it. It's held up good for me for the last 2 years. Of course, the profile stem. Stolen headset and bottom bracket. It's got the nice little cutouts in it, just a little fanciness to it. I got the titanium Far East Cycles seat post, and we've got the profile Signet sprocket down there. And I run a Flybikes tractor chain, because obviously on this side of my drivetrain, you know, it protects the sprocket or the chain really well with the sprocket. And I also run outside hub guards. That way it doesn't mess up my spacing. And Odyssey Evo 2s for the brakes, because they're a little bit lighter than 2.5s, and since I don't run the giant tires, I have a little more room. I can run a smaller brake set. Again, weight differences. Cool stop brake pads. Never had a problem with them, and I go with the black on the chrome. And then of course, you know, just the little accents, a little pink there. My spokes are titanium. Nipples are alloy, and we're really happy with our product. It's a go bike, not a show bike. So that you can take them out and abuse them just like any other frame. They're not designed to hang on the wall.
Absolutely. They're made by John Courts.
Yes.
At work.
John makes these. He does a great job. I can't rant and rave about them. This is my prototype still works just fine that we got. Like, this is really just an upgrade because we made some changes for me as far as, you know, like getting a new one. That's why I went with it. So I've still got my prototype built up at home. Like, it's set up more for street with the plastic pegs and stuff, but I can't rave enough about John's work. John does a good job.
Absolutely. So before we talk more about the frame, what are those brake levers and bar ends you got going on?
The bar ends are snafu. I went with the aluminum bar end just because they outlast plastic ones. They just do. That's just one less thing I had to replace. Of course, the levers are the Dicomp 7.7s with locking button. Locking button's just out of nostalgia. I try to use it for a couple tricks, but old Dusty's fingers are kind of stubby when reaching over to lock it at the same time, so he has a little trouble with that, but I've seen plenty of guys use them just fine. No big deal there. Of course, I got the Odyssey seat clamp, because we require seat clamps for our bikes because we all got tired of breaking off the integrated ones. So we just, you know, tried to do things that we had issues with. We upgraded them. Of course, you know, the platform for the decades and stuff like that, you know, it's just more comfortable coming back in. It doesn't tweak your foot slightly or anything like that.
What?
We went with a slider shorter head tube on these. They're like 4 3/4 instead of 5 and over. For all you guys who are running gyros, that way you have plenty of adjustment room, plenty. And it gives it its own unique look. You know, we don't look like every other frame on the market. We try to do our own thing, and our riders try to do their own thing. We're sad a couple of the riders can't be here with us today, but they are in spirit. You'll see them later.
So for anyone who didn't see the original bike check with you, can you go over the geometry of the frame?
Now the geometry, again, is exactly the same as the prototypes. 75-degree head tube, again, middle of the road, so anyone can use it. You can put on 15 forks or on up to 32s, depending on what stability you want. We offer multiple different top tube lengths in 1/4-inch increments. The rear on these is 13.25 to 13.75, again, staying middle of the road, so that anybody can, from a beginner up to a pro, could ride this bike just fine. It's really geared towards everyone, not one specific genre of the sport. It can be used for anything. And of course, along with this, we do offer the clone, which is a clone of this frame. It just does not have the platform. And this year, we're going to modify it slightly. We're going to put a wishbone rear end at the bottom of the clones. And we're going to make it long enough so you guys that run opposite side drive can flip your sprocket around, and the sprocket actually guards the chain still. Because if you notice on these, like if I was to put left-hand drive and slide on my crank arm, my chain's still going to be exposed. So we're going to make it so you can flip those around. That's like a 90s thing, 90s style. Like Ian Schwartz and all those guys used to flip their sprocket around backwards for that reason, to keep from destroying their chain, because they would, when it's forward like this, you can see the chain's exposed if you're sliding on it, which makes that sprocket guard useless. You have no reason to have a sprocket guard if that's the case. So just little things like that, we've been watching what other people are doing and trying to innovate on that, and it really helped people get a bike that they don't have parts breaking on all the time.
So is there anything that you're super particular about, like bar width, bar angle? I mean, anything like that?
I run my bars in line with the head tube. I keep my bars at 28, which again is pretty middle of the road. I don't like them too wide, I don't like them too narrow. I know Trevor runs his at 27. So, kind of personal preference there, but the only other things I'm really particular about, obviously, I don't run my seat super jacked up high. I run again, a middle of the road. It's not super low, it's not super high, but I'm not a tall dude. I'm only like 5'6", 5'7", so. Other than that, the only other thing I'm really particular about is my top tube length. I run a 19.25, and that's what this is. Again, because I'm a short guy, and a longer bike feels like I'm trying to kick a semi-trailer around. And I need, at my age, I need all the advantage I can get. I did turn 53 here on the 13th, so all you older riders out there, keep pushing, you can do it.
Nice, man. Well, Dustin Reese is definitely a perfect example of the fact that you don't quit when you get old when you quit. And it's cool to see you guys a couple years later. You've updated some things, you're still doing it. Trevor's out there with you, and you guys are both continuous and being consistent with it is awesome. So with that being said, where can people find out more info or stay tuned to if they wanted to learn more about these frames?
Okay, well, Trevor's still working on the website. Bear with us on that one. We got so much money going out in frame sets and t-shirts and stuff like that. It's hard to pay someone for a website when you could just contact us direct and we'll give you whatever information you need. Frames are still available out there. You can find Albies has a clone still. Flatland Fuel has 19.5 top tubes in stock, and Dialed Scooter and BMX has a couple of Tridents. I think they have a 20.75 in a clone or Trident, and a 19.5 as well, and a Trident. So they're out there, and of course Carl here has a 20.5 in Oxblood Red that's also available. So there's still a few available out there. They don't last very long. We don't do huge batches. So, we're just giving the people something different, something that they can go out. If you show up at a skate park on this bike, everyone wants to ask you what it is. Either that or they'll look at it and you say, I've only seen those on the internet. So it does have its own unique look. I've heard guys say it's like what if a Sabbath and a Trickstar had a baby? And of course, you know, it's hard to beat a Sabbath with as thick as those things were, but this is like a Trickstar wishes it was. Because, you know, back in the day, all those things broke. They broke right up here on the head tube. And get me wrong, they look cool as can be, but they were never very strong.
So what's the Instagram for people to check it out and stay tuned?
You can check out, it's at Tech Bike Co. on Instagram. And on Facebook, it is also Tech Bike Co. Or you can check out Trevor Watring's page or my page on both Facebook and Instagram, both of us. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to get a hold of us. We will answer whatever questions anyone has. Like, we're not going to ignore your messages. We'll get to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, that should work.
Sounds good. And I know personally there's a few people who have bought Tridents from seeing them in the videos here. So if you're one of those people, leave your experience with it in the comments down below. And definitely check out what those guys have got going on. Follow them. Everything will be linked that you need in the description. And yeah, thanks for telling me about your newly built up Trident, Dustin.
No problem. I appreciate it. And thanks to everyone out there who's hyped on what we're doing, because we do this for the love of BMX. We are not making no money. This is literally for BMX and for you guys out there to enjoy, you know, new school guys and old school guys. If you just want something different, everyone. Like, we're doing this for everyone. You don't have to blend into the masses.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye. See ya.